What we have here is a 2012 Polaris Sportsman 400 HO. We are going to be changing out all the fluids on it except for the radiator fluid. It does not need to be changed out. I'm also going to go ahead and change out the spark plug. This machine I picked up from a farmer who had owned it since it was brand new off the showroom floor. He had all these accessories put on it when he bought it. What blew my mind when I looked at it, and I'm going to show you all too. Let's see, make sure it's cleared off. So it's got 104 hours on it. It's 104.9. Then we got 318 miles. When I picked this thing up, it had only had 16 miles on it. So I have been out playing with it a little bit. It's a little dirty, but when I picked it up, this thing did not have a scratch on it. I mean, it's a 2012, and this is the original seat. Look at this thing. It looks brand new. He took good care of it. So my goal here with this machine is I want to soup this thing up. I want to put 2 inches on it, lift it up. I want to put some 1.5 inch wheel spacers on here. Put some bigger, beefier tires on here. I'm not too worried about the wheels really, but it would be nice to have some nice wheels on there. I also want to put a jet kit in here for the carb, change out the air filter with K&N, and then the exhaust, and eventually get to where I can change out the clutch as well to add a lot more power, stance, stamina, and just turn this thing into a little beast. I like this machine because it does have the bigger body style on it. I'm 6'2" and long-legged, so it really did fit me well. Even though it's a 400, it does have the 450 in it. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to change the oil here. Now I did get on YouTube and watch a few videos to make sure what I'm doing wasn't too repetitive. But there was a couple things I noticed people were doing. They were only draining the oil from this plug and not the other one on the other side, which I'll show you that as well. We'll get that drained. But to start, that is a 14 millimeter socket that we're gonna need to take that off. I went over to my local dealer here, S&S Power Sports, to get me some fluids, everything I need here to get the job done. But they had the Polaris kit here, came with the 2 quarts of oil, the oil filter, and the crush ring just to cover the oil change. Then we'll get to the rear, and we'll also get to the front as well. And then we'll get to the spark plug. So give me just a second, get this phone put on a tripod, and we will move forward. All right, starters, we're gonna go ahead and remove the oil cap on this thing just to give it some breathing. My hand can get in here. It's not exactly. There we go. I'm just gonna loosen that up and just let it rest there. It'll help it vent when we go to remove this plug. Adjust some lighting for you. I'll reach in here with my ratchet and get this popped loose. All right, that was simple enough. Watch this go spraying everywhere. It never fails. Anytime I put an oil pan somewhere I think it's going to catch, it always goes on the floor. Let's see what happens. And got it that time. Well, that's interesting. So let me grab a rag here. This one has a little plastic washer on it. So it must be the original. I don't know, to be honest with you. But either way, couldn't pass this deal up when I seen it. But this is the crush ring that came with it. The oil does look a little funky. So it's a good thing I'm gonna go ahead and change this before we get out and hot rod this machine. Let's see. Now that that's had a little drip, I'm gonna reach up here and take this oil filter out. Get my phone out of here. And the oil filter is right there. So I should be able to reach in there and remove that with my hand. so I can remove it with my hands, plural. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, it's making a good mess. Put that rag right there. Catch all that. Oh yeah, I am making a wonderful mess. I should have known better. Again, that's the beauty of having a garage though. The oil filter ring seal here is still on here, so that's good. Put that to the side. Get another rag, because I'm gonna need it. All right, and now what we want to do, take this light and I'm going to inspect it. What I'm looking for is any cracks or build up, anything like that on here, so that I can get it cleaned off. So I want to make sure we got a good seal when I put the new filter on here. Everything's nice and smooth. I don't feel any burrs on anything. So, yeah, threads feel good on it. Now we'll take the new oil filter, just like a vehicle, car, truck, SUV, don't matter. Stick your finger in the old oil and lube up this ring. It's gonna help you get it on there, get it tight, and get a good seal. You wanna tighten this by hand. I see where people sit there and tighten it up with a wrench. I don't agree with that, because you can over tighten these filters and damage them, and possibly even you can damage your components in here, which you definitely do not wanna do. That's screwed on there. Oil wiped off. All right, so that's tight with the one hand. I'm gonna reach in here with two hands and just give it a snug. I'm not gonna torque it, I'm just gonna snug it down. Just like that, done. Then we're gonna come back over here and check on our drip. And it looks like it's doing well. So we can go ahead and clean this off. Make sure there's no dirt and debris built up there. Okay. I get a little picky sometimes when it comes to stuff like this. I want it to be right. Try to teach my son the same thing. Don't half-ass it and it'll be right. All right, there we go. So now we're going to take our crush ring out of here. And then we are going to take our oil plug, wipe it off, make sure you clean it off really good with a rag. Spray some brake cleaner on there if you have to. This one is actually really nice and clean. Now with this crush ring, it's got two sides to it. It has a really smooth side, and on the other side it's textured. You want that textured side going against this oil pan right here. So make sure when you put, let me get this phone out of here. So yeah, make sure when you put this on the plug, this smooth side is going against the body of it. Just like so. Get my light put back there. Then we are going to reach in here. We are going to finger tighten this. Okay, And then when you go to tighten this, again, you just want to snug it. You don't want to sit there and try to torque on it. I know it has torque specs, but I've changed enough of these plugs and oils and everything else. I'm just kind of used to it by hand, but the manual does have all your torque specs in there. So right there is tight, and now I'm just going to give it a little snug, make sure that crush ring takes place, and we're good. Now, when we put oil in there, I will obviously get back up under here and watch for any drips whatsoever. And if there is any, which I don't see there being, but we'll take corrective action then, and I'll show you what to do to fix that if there is one. So what we're gonna do now is move this oil pan back a little more, because we're gonna get up under here on the other side and get the rest of this oil drained out. All right, so we're over here on what I'm gonna call the passenger side of the vehicle. The nice thing about this, if you look through this hole, I'm gonna try to zoom in here so you can see it. See that little hole right there, that little black hole? That's where the nut was, and it's actually draining oil as we speak. I went ahead and took it off because I was gonna loosen it first. But that thing was on there so tight that it took me a minute to get it off. But you need to drain the rest of that oil out of there, and that's where it comes from. So, and that is another 14 millimeter. There is a place where you can slide a wrench right up in there to get to it and take it off. But yeah, let that drain out. Put that plug back in there. This is what this plug looks like. See my nice little oily mess? Clean that plug off. Put that back in there and tighten that back down. Next step is fairly simple. We're going to take out the dipstick here. We're going to clean it off. Man, that oil was nasty. And then we are going to put our filler in here. I have a funnel. Some people, they just chance it and start dumping. I like using a funnel. I want to make sure it all goes in there. I already spilt enough on the floor. I don't need any more. So because we drained the crankcase along with it, we can pour quite a bit of this oil. I'm going to pour a whole quart in here, and then about 3/4 of the other quart. So now I want to show you what we got going on here. I've got all the oil in it. Well, sorry, not all of it. I've got about 1/4 of this left. I will put that in last if it's needed. So when you put the dipstick tube back in here, what's going to happen, this is going to be some really clean oil. It's going to look like you're over full, and that's fine if you drained the crankcase. All right, so I forgot to hit record when I was moving forward. I went ahead and started this, let it run for about a minute, turned it off, came down here, checked my oil. It was below level after the crankcase got full in the oil filter, so I added the rest of the oil that I had, and now I let it sit for a little longer so that I can see exactly where it's at. So I'm gonna wipe this off. It should be right on the money, but we're gonna check. So get it in there. There we go. So now we'll pull it out. It needs just a little drip, but right there, I mean, pretty much you're perfect. But if I wanted to be real picky, I would take it until it was touching that other line there. But I'm not going to be that picky about it. So, well, and another reason is, let's see, do I have any oil left? You know what? I got a little drop in that. Let's go ahead and put it in there. Not that this is useful in any way, but we're gonna do it. Well, the video parting of it anyway. Get that out of there. So now what we'll do is we'll move on to the back and change the fluids out in the transmission. All right, so now we're at the rear passenger side of the vehicle of the Polaris, and this is going to be the drain plug for the transmission fluid. I went ahead and broke it loose so that y'all didn't have to sit there and watch me break my knuckles. That hurt pretty good. But all you're going to do is with an 8mm, I guess it's like a socket bit or a Allen bit. I don't know what they call it, to be honest with you. So I'm just throwing out random words. But you're going to pretty much do the same thing like you did with your oil. Unscrew this bad boy. I'm at a bad angle reaching around the camera and stuff. I'm about to make a mess of myself. Got the oil pan here. Let's see. Yep, there we go. That's pretty dirty. Yeah, see there's some little buildup on the bottom of that magnet there, but not much at all. Nothing to worry about. No big chunks, just fine little dust. So let me get that cleaned off. But we're gonna let that sit there and drain. So this one we're just gonna let continue to drain until it's completely done dripping. There is no other plug to go to get the rest out. This should drain every bit of the fluid out of there. And then when that's done, we'll jump over to the driver's side and I'll show you the fill plug and how to fill that up. All right, now that we're at a slow little drip here, we're gonna go ahead and put this plug back in. I think that should be good. Okay. I'm just gonna take this bit. My hands are covered in oil. Crazy thing is I have a couple boxes of gloves that I never put on. So go ahead and get that on there. A little oil is good for the tools anyway. Flip that over. Get that tightened. And again, like everything else, right there it stopped. I'm gonna snug it up and call that a day. Get this out of here now. There we go. Then I'll take a bag. Clean off that stuff. Now the reason for cleaning this is not because you want it to look pretty. It's because you want to make sure if there is a drip or the slightest little leak that you're able to see where it's pulling or pushing out. So making sure you get that excess off so you can double check is a pretty big deal. So try to make sure you do that. There we go. All right, so here is the refill plug. I've already broke that loose, and yes, it was a pain in the ass. So it's already loose for me to get in there, start dumping the fluid in. The way this is going to work is you're gonna start pouring that fluid in. They say level to the threads. I pour mine in until it starts to dribble out. I let it dribble out until it levels out, then I'll put the plug back in. I just found that's easier than sitting there stopping, looking. So I'll go ahead and get that filled up. All right, so I got the hose inserted here. I sprayed it out with brake cleaner before. That way I can make sure nothing else is getting in here that don't belong in here. And then I'm gonna pour the fluid in from the top. Let it fill. Whoa, letting it overfill in the funnel is what I'm doing. And I promise I'm not making a mess to be funny, because I'm the one that's got to clean it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video until it starts pouring, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about when it's full. Okay, so here we go. This is what I was talking about. Adding a little more in there just to show you, because it already filled up on me. It started coming out the bottom, which let me know that it's full. Let me see if I can zoom in there for you. My fingers are so oily. So now I'm kind of stopping it coming out with this funnel. So when I remove this funnel, you should see more of a stream come out. Or hear it. Yeah, there it is right there. I'm pointing at it with the funnel. I'll let that drain off. So it's at least like a little drip. And then I'll call that good. Alright, got that buttoned up. And we are using Polaris AGL gear case lubricant and transmission fluid. So now we will move on to the front and get that taken care of. Alright, now that we're at the front, got the demand drive fluid Polaris. Right under here is the drain plug. Then we'll come over here to the side. Get up under there, and there is the fill plug right there. So I'll get that drained out, and then we'll get it filled up. This is supposed to only take 9 fluid ounces. How many ounces is this bottle? This is 28 ounces. So we're barely gonna use any. So we're gonna have plenty left to change fluids in the future. All right, hold my phone with one hand here because my little tripod won't go down that low. But I think I can get the oil to hit this pan. I think I can make this one work. See what happens. My luck, it'll shoot out the top, spray all over my head. And then, boom. Look at that. It's nice and clean. Looks good. So after that gets done draining, we'll get up here at the top and fill this back up. All right, as you can see, right in there is the fill plug. I'm gonna fill it just like I did the transmission, so no sense of sitting here showing you all that. It is a tight little fit to get in there, but you can get in there and break it loose, and just gotta flip that ratchet up to make it happen, and should be good from there. All right, so next what we're doing is changing the spark plug. First, remove your seat. Remove this plastic side panel here, set it to the side. And then you're gonna look right into there, and there is your spark plug. You can pop it right out, put your socket on there, take your old one out, put your new one in, and you are good to go. I like to give these a little twist before I try yanking them out of there, because sometimes if you got a lot of water and mud always and pressure washing, these things can dry rot and break on you while you're trying to pull it out. So I try to get it loosened up a little bit before I pop it out of there. But I won't take it to the full extent there. Just wanted to give you a show of where it's at, but that is all the fluids changed. Right here is where I sprayed down my mess that I made with the oil. But this thing should be back up and running smooth here real shortly. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed. Again, that's the 2012 Polaris Sportsman 400 HO with the 450. I always like to add that. So yeah, make sure that you are taking proper maintenance with your vehicle. It's just gonna make it last forever. Honestly, I probably should have changed all this the day I got the four-wheeler. But all the fluids did look good in it when I checked it. That's the only reason I didn't, but you know, it's a chance I took. But anyways, hope you all enjoyed that, and hopefully I will have some more upgrades soon to turn this stock beast into a monster beast. So You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere on social media under @WeldSnob. I will be building a page specifically for ATVs, off-roading. Right now I have one called the Deer Wrangler, but I am actually going to change the name of that. I'm just going to have kind of an all-around outdoors type stuff, but more focused here with this. So see y'all soon, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got any questions, send me a message, or if you've got any suggestions on upgrades or things I should possibly do, hey, it's worth a shot. Talk to y'all later.